Celine Roland in the Hickson car. It's Jared Thomas in the number 96 in 7th place for JTR, with his teammate Glenn McGee on the 8th position, the number 23. 9th and 10th, row 5, Jensen Altsman in the 13 in 9th position for Macumbi Magalia, one of 3 together there. Sam Paley in the blue, number 28, didn't get to finish the race yesterday. And Jean Jourdain also didn't have the race he wanted yesterday. He's in 11th in the number 39. And that is the top 11. In 12th position, Gresham Wagner for Spark Performance. 13th, Joy Atanasio in the black and green striped car. And we'll go to the top 15. Where we find Justin Piscatel in the 14th position and Jameson Riley in the number 31 in 15th position. Thanks to our production crew at Road America, Mark Smith and Donnie Russell stepped away from their NASCAR duties to help us out. Donnie painting the pictures for us yesterday and today, so that we can see all the way around the circuit, and wherever you are in the world, you can see the action. 45 minutes on the clock. Stand by, take a deep breath. It might be the only one you get in the next 3/4 of an hour. Green flag in hand. Race 2 of the weekend at Road America, and we are green and racing. The 45 minutes begins to count down in the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Championship for 2022, presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. Great start by the white number 72 on driver's right. That's the inside going into turn 1. Here's Kligerman round the outside in the black number 75 is the head of the Arians Bridge. The little kink that is turned through 2. Already Fastnack down on the outside trying to make up positions. And Kligerman still side by side with a pole sitter. I think he's got to the lead. Parker Kligerman, our guest driver, who was barged out of the race at turn number 6 yesterday, hasn't got the draft though. He was on his own and now he's going to have to drop it. He led for about maybe 50 yards but wasn't getting any help from behind. My goodness me, how NASCAR is that? Down into turn number 5, the 2 white cars heading through the left-hander and up the hill, and it's still our pole sitter, Connor Silic, who is leading things out. Great battling early on. Looks like Cañero's come through into 3rd position there, and Kligerman, with no help, gets shuffled way down. Matthew Dirks right in there in 2nd place is the 2nd of the 2 white cars. Celine Roland side by side with Michael Carter at turn 8 at the bottom of the hurry downs, and now into the carousel for the first time. Shea Adam, how very day job was that? And Parker Kligerman went to the lead but got no help from behind, and from leading for about 50 yards he's now down in 5th position.
Oh, this is magnificent. With Michael Carter and Celine Roland and then Sam Paley right behind him too. It won't be too long before Parker and Gresham Wagner on the back of that pack as well. That is going to be a fun group to watch.
It was a ride height infraction for Aidan Fastnack to put him at the back of the grid, through into 3rd position. The fast starting Jared Thomas, 7th on the grid, and fights his way through into a podium spot, but we've not completed the first lap yet. It was a little bit untidy in parts yesterday. Come back to that in a moment. And that is the 15, Aidan Fastnack. The Macumbi Magalia racing driver will not reprise his race from back to front as he did at Watkins Glen a week ago, and yesterday he was in a podium position. Check that, he was in 4th position before the time penalty was applied. Now the question is, he was turned around this time, and
someone else involved there too, John. I can't tell the black car.
That is suspension damage to the right rear of the 15 of Aidan Fastnack's car. I think Bryce Carney was in there, and Anthony McIntosh was the other car. I think it was Bryce Cornet, the other car involved in that shit. The Soul Red machine. But everyone, I think, is cleared. Have to see what happens to Aidan Fastnack, whether he's in harm's way there. as at the front, Zilic and Dirks in the 2 white cars for Hickson and McCumbee-Macaleer Racing. JT Motorsports, Jared Thomas, he's the JT of JTR.
And if I am Connor Zilic, I am more nervous about having Matthew Dirks behind me than I was having Gresham Wagner and Michael Carter, because Matthew Dirks had a couple of pole positions earlier in the year. That was at Mid-Ohio, but not managed to get to the the checkered flag in the first position. So he is still looking for that first win.
Martin Kligerman scored in 5th across the line in the 75 car. For a moment, I've lost sight of him in the train of cars. Keep an eye on what's going on further back down the field as Michael Carter and Sam Paley are fighting over 6th and 7th. Sam Paley really needs a result here today, Shay, in that blue car. Came into the pits very early on. Behind them, another normal front runner, Gresham Wagner. And the top 3 are together, and the top 2 are side by side. Zilic has Matthew Dirks for company coming down into Canada corner, and that's a change of lead. As through goes the 76. That is a backup car for Matthew Dirks. He normally races in USAF style fighter plane colours, but that car was damaged 1 week ago, and he's in the backup car at the moment. Into the pit lane for Aiden Fastnacht, and that was Bryce Cornier that he passed, I think, there in the pit lane, the 65 car. So that kind of confirms to me that my aging eyes weren't deceiving me. First, second and third across the line. The 2 white cars drafting, bump drafting down the front straight. These cars do make a really big hole in the air. They are open top cars, but with the FIA approved roll cage, they don't have a roof on them, so they really do spread a lot of air around. There's no wings on these cars, so if you can get into the gap in the air that the car or cars ahead is making you. And Kligerman's into the pits. Kligerman is into the pits for Thunder Bunny Racing, the number 75. What a great qualifying he had. 3rd and 2nd, was running right up front yesterday until a hard charging Fastnacht and he got together at turn 6, and today he led. It might have only been for 50 yards, but I reckon he led coming out of turn 3 and onto the middle straight here. So the draft is strong in this series, and the top 3 pulling away. If they work together, they'll stay away. If they start to squabble, Shay, they'll come back to 4th place, which at the moment is Bruno Cagnaro in the grey and red car. Then behind him, Sam Paley has made up some good positions and is in 5th position. 6th is Michael Carter in the 08, the red, white and black car. Little lock up of the left front, BF Goodrich down into turn 8 at the bottom of Hurry Downs, and everybody taking some rather unorthodox lines down there, including Cagnaro, who was all for BF Goodrich wheels off. Every single place, every single point in the championship counts for so much here, Shay, not just for your championship positions, but for how big your check is at the end of the year.
It's true, $250,000 going the way of the champion at the end of the season, but it pays all the way down to 10th, which right now is Aaron Johnson. But Michael Carter, after yesterday's race, vaulted from 15th in points to 11. He's looking to try and gain back some more places, because real cash money, and it doesn't matter how you spend it in this championship. Rookie of the Year pays $80,000. The grassroots scholarship, which Connor Zilic won last year, that's $110,000. And women in motorsport is something else that Mazda innovates and tries to support. Well, yesterday, Laura Hayes, the recipient of that for this season, finished her best ever 11th. It was a great day all around for Thunder Bunny Racing, as Laura and Parker Kligerman put on a good show.
Across the line to complete another lap. We've still got 37 minutes of racing here. Dirks leading, it's Connor Zilic now leading with Jared Thomas. The red meat in the white bread sandwich there of the 72 and 76. Sam Paley into 4th there, going by Bruno Cagnaro last time around, in fact going into turn 1. So watch that blue number 28. Sam needs to get some points back. He's had a couple of not too good rounds after a fabulous rookie year last year when he took the rookie championship share.
It's true. He won the $80,000 ahead of Chris Nunes last year. He came into yesterday's race 6th in points. He left it 9th in points, so Sam Paley needs a good day. But this leading trio has allowed the second leading trio, if you will, to catch back up. Connor Zilich is with Hickson. Jared Thomas is with JTR. Matthew Dirks is with MMR. Bruno Carniero in 4th is with Hickson. Michael Carter is on his own in 6th, but Sam Paley is another one of those MMR cars. So if we can get those teammates to work together, they think that'll work better for them than working with the one-offs that are sort of the interlopers to the leading pack.
And Gresham Wagner in the number 5 car, the 05 car, the number 5 car rather, is the fastest driver in terms of lap times at the moment, that multicoloured black, orange and green car, with a 2:32.9. That is a new lap record. And that is almost, in fact, it is just on 6/10 faster than Michael Carter achieved here last year. So that's going to earn him some points if he holds on to that,
Yep.
Shay.
Yep, that is 10 bonus points. That would be the second consecutive day that he gets the fastest lap in the race. You get 10 bonus points for pole position. That's already gone the way of Connor Zilich. Right now, Connor has led the most laps. That is another 10 points. But again, 35 minutes to go. A lot could change in that period of time. And then 10 bonus points for the fastest lap on top of 350 points for winning the race. So there are a lot of points to be gained in today's race. Or if you look at what happened yesterday, we had Jared Thomas come in with 2,320 points. He left yesterday's race gaining only 50, whereas his closest competition gained 280 points. So a massive championship, not quite swing, but beginning to move the pendulum.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that means Jared Thomas needs a good finish today. He's currently sitting in second in the mostly red car with the yellow rollover hoop and the yellow mirrors. He is behind Connor Zilich, although at the moment he's rather hiding. Sam Paley in the blue car, the number 28 comes down the inside. He goes for 3rd position, has got that done, and Bruno Carniero's trying to follow him through. They'll be on the inside for the right-hander at the bottom of the hill at turn 3. Carniero trying to follow through, still there now. Carniero slips to the left-hand side and gives the number 76 of Matthew Dirks, the white car, a little bit of a push. And this time it's Sam Paley who's left on his own with no drafting help behind him as they run down that long curving stretch of flat-out track all the way down to turn 5. And Paley has dropped 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 positions. He came out of turn 3 well in position to take 3rd. He'll come out of turn 5, I reckon, in 5th position, possibly 6th, as they head up the hill to turn 6. Still Connor Zilich leading from Jared Thomas. Then a wee gap just opening up to Matthew Dirks for Macumbi Magalia Racing.
This is brilliant racing. Michael Carter hung it on the outside trying to get around Sam Paley for 3 corners before realizing that Paley was not going to back out. And Michael Carter lives to see another day, but Connor Zilich goes way wide at the entry to the carousel, dropping some wheels, but getting the BF Goodrich's back on the pavement.
Still 33 minutes on the clock here for this race, and an absolute belter in prospect as always in the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5. Some great circuits that have been visited this year already, and still some good ones to come. Fabulous to see them back on the wide open 4 miles here at Road America. And thank you for getting up early and getting trackside for this. Big fan favourite, big team favourite in the IMSA paddock, and I did notice a few of the other series competitors out to watch this. It's side by side, it's pure racing, and at the front of the field, coming to the final corner, the right-hander that heads up the start-finish straight, it is still Connor Zilich who lead another lap from Jared Thomas. Came into this weekend as championship leader. He's had his championship lead trimmed back by a significant margin, but at the moment he's doing his championship hopes no harm at all. Cross the stripe then, down towards turn 1. Pick your braking point. There's a little access road on the right-hand side as you come in, and a change of the surface there just before you get to the first part of the curb. That gives you an idea how close you are to turn 1, but these cars are barely braking at all. It's just a brush on the brakes for turn 1. have to be super brave to go through and take a position there. A little mistake by Celine Roland, who just took too much pace there, and immediately that is seized on by the cars around him. Jensen Altsman is the grey and black car alongside Celine Roland as they come under the Sargento Bridge. And who's that behind Altsman? I think it's just Piscatel who's pushing Jensen down. It is. So they've just drafted by. Again, there are some very big, and then Jensen goes a little bit wide into turn 5, but there's plenty of places here, Shea, where getting a little bit of drafting help from behind is going to help you. There's some long, fast stretches here.
Yeah, this is the perfect example of where drafting makes a big difference. Yes, Daytona, where we started the season, that would be the ultimate place, but Road America is 4.048 miles of drafting perfection when you are in an MX-5 Cup car, because you need every little bit of help that you can get, which is why we saw Jared Thomas tucked up right behind. It was Connor Zilic coming across the start-finish line. Also, important to note that Connor Zilic is a member of Hickson Motorsport, and Jared Thomas's main competition in the championship right now, Hickson Motorsport, in the form of Celine Roland.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Shea. 30 minutes still to go, half an hour. Lap record's already gone. It's in the hands now of Gresham Wagner. Got that early on. Michael Carter pulls out of line behind Matthew Dirks as they go through Canada corner. That's that second little group that's led by the white number 76 of Matthew Dirks for Hickson Motorsports, Carter Racing Enterprises. Former champion Michael Carter in the 08. Then Caniero's dropped back a couple of spots. Then Paley trying to come forward, and then Gresham Wagner. That's
another
down to 7. Another former series champion. We have, I think we have 3 overall champions still in this championship share in 2022.
Well, we've got Michael Carter and Gresham Wagner. We've got Stephen McAleer as a team owner. Hello, Stephen. I know you're out there listening to us. He is still very much involved with this championship. And if you want to look at the championship, and as far as former series champions go, yes, they are out there doing great things in other series, but this is a destination championship where people don't tend to matriculate. You look at Gresham Wagner, you look at Carter, Michael Carter, they win the money, and then they put the money back into coming into this championship because you can win even more money. You can make a career out of racing in the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup.
I was talking a couple of weekends ago when you and I were working at Haggerty Radio Le Mans to the guys at the sharp end of that field. It was the Toyota guys that told me, I think the prize money there is 25 or 30,000 euros for winning one of the biggest endurance races in the world. That's for overall victory. And here the series champions get $250,000. Big moment for Caniero, who was shepherded off the track rather there at turn 6 onto the grass. It's dusty. Hasn't been a lot of water falling from the sky here recently. Paley's gone through. Looks like the Gresham Wagner 5 car's gone through as well. Caniero has to dust himself off, and his tyres, the BF Goodrich tyres, he was on the outside, just trying maybe to hold his line. Yeah, went a little bit wide. There was no touch there, I don't think, from Paley. Well, there can't have been, because the 2 door mirrors are normally the things that come together as they came out at turn 6. No, it was just a little bit wide from Caniero, maybe trying to shake off that rear bumper cover as well as he did yesterday. Talking to Jamie Chadwick, who has won the last 2 W Series championships and has won all the races in the W Championship. She was racing in Silverstone in the UK yesterday and won that race as well. There's more money here than there is in the W Series Championship as well. So this is quite extraordinary in terms of how much return you get. And as you're fond of saying, this is real cash money.
Real cash money. So for finishing 3rd in this championship, you win more money than winning Le Mans overall. Just to put that into perspective.
Good point.
And hello also to Mike Loeb, who's out there listening, who was one of our competitors for quite a long time. He said he made a career out of racing in this championship, but it was more him putting money in because he just had so much fun. It is still Connor Zilic leading the way. 6 laps led for that young man, 15 years old when he started off the season. season. And this is a big weekend for him, getting his first ever win in this series, also running in a TA2 car, and he's managed by a guy named Kevin Harvick. So he's got a lot of eyeballs on him.
Him to watch out for in the future. This is his rookie year, and he's out front not just of the rookies but of the whole pack at the moment. He's taking the pressure. Just wonder how hard Jared Thomas has been pushing, because they've been trying to break the back of the cars behind them, but Matthew Dirks has come across to them. That's the second of the white cars. So once again, as we had maybe 4 or 5 laps ago, we have the 2 white cars with the yellow car in between. That's Connor Zilic and Matthew Dirks in the 72 and 76. That's the 2 white cars. They're not teammates. That's Hickson and McCumbee McAleer, and the third team there, JTR. That's just Jared Thomas racing in that red and yellow car in the middle. And just starting to gain on them, Michael Carter in the red, white and black. That is the team that he runs for himself with his dad, Carter Racing Enterprises, the number 4 car, the 4th place car. Then behind them, at the line, it was Sam Paley, but Gresham Wagner, who still has the fastest lap of the race, that new lap record, 2:32.909. He's the next car in line after Sam Paley. In fact, it's not Sam Paley now, who's behind Gresham Wagner. It's Joey Atanasio in that very distinctive gloss black car with the bright Kermit green racing stripes over the bonnet. Joey, always easy to spot. That's another of the rookies. That, in fact, is the second rookie in the race, down in 7th position. Bruno Cagnaro is also a rookie in that grey car with the lighter coloured fender stripes. He's just having a look at the moment around the back of Atanasio. They all go wide at Canada corner. Sam Paley was the tightest, coming off there and pinched it as they go through. Bill Mitchell, the little left-hand kink, and over the top of that rise where the tunnel goes underneath. Those of us with long memories will remember coming here and seeing a bridge there. That was many years ago. The leaders then climbing this steep hill. When does Jared Thomas push the go button? At the moment, it's 2, let's call it 2.5 cars, because the 76 of Matthew Dirks, for the moment, has just lost touch in. He'll still be getting some draft, but not quite as much as he was when he's very tidily up behind the 2 leaders. Brakes super late into turn 1 in that 3rd place McCumbee McAleer Racing machine, and he's trying to get back on terms with the leading pair.
I'm going to give the 10 bonus points to Connor Zilic at this stage in the race. He has led 7 laps. I think Matthew Dirks would be the only other one to maybe contend with that, assuming we go to a 15-lap race. But I think with 23 minutes and 50 seconds to go, Connor Zilic has notched up an additional 10 bonus points. Important because yesterday, coming into the race, he was 8th in the championship after the win. He's up to 6th, and he is hot on the heels of Bruno Carniero in 5th place. But for me, the biggest guy with stuff to gain today, that would be Gresham Wagner, because after yesterday's race, he's up to 3rd in the championship. He does have championship aspirations to try and defend and get his 2nd consecutive in what would be unprecedented fashion for this championship.
No one has ever defended the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Championship. We've never had consecutive championship wins in this era. Just on the halfway point as they come to the carousel, around about 30 seconds time, will be at half distance, and it is a timed event, so depending when they come to the line, the checkered flag will, the white flag rather, will come out. Just a moment or 2 ago, the number 72, right the way to the edge of the circuit. Connor Zilic using all the track here at Road America and a bit of the green and pleasant land that surrounds this. I think the groundsman's not going to be too happy with him there. The lawn work will need redoing. He'll not be the first person to do that today. I am absolutely certain. Down to Canada corner, always a great place to spectate, up on the bleachers with the shade of the trees on driver's left there. You see them coming all the way down, and already there's a decent crowd there. Good morning to you all at just on 28 minutes past 9 this morning here at Road America. The leading 3 through Dirks the final corner. Now he's there, Dirks is back, and the car that is slightly in no man's land at the moment shares Michael Carter, Carter Racing Enterprises. Remember, we've lost In terms of meaningful running, Bryce Cornet, who came together with Moise Uretsky and Parker Kligerman, Anthony McIntosh, Aidan Fastnacht. Not sure what went wrong with Kligerman. He came into the pits some time ago.
It's being reported as some kind of mechanical issue, John, so he did have that contact early on, remember?
Certainly dropped back very, very quickly. Max Opalski and Michael Starb didn't start the race today.
Or Moise.
Or Moise, excuse me, yeah. Aidan Fastnacht from the back had problems early on. Contact with Anthony McIntosh and Bryce Cornet. Those two cars. Parker Kligerman, as I said, led the race for a few seconds and into the gravel, the 31. This is the number 31 car that's gone in deeply. Riley Jameson.
Riley.
Yeah, Jameson Riley.
The family team with their family Mazda dealership up in the northeast region of the U.S. Let's see if he can get it out of the gravel.
I don't think there's a BF.
That left rear BF isn't there.
I think that is a Reyes Racing alloy without a BF Goodrich Racing tyre. Now, whether that was cause or effect, not entirely certain. It's coming down towards turn 3. Got a little bit of hip and shoulder, and that was a bit naughty. Was that Justin Piscatel? No, it was... I'll catch the other car in the moment. It was the right-hand side impact that sent him in there. And I'm afraid there's no coming out of that.
Wow, it knocked the trunk open too.
Yeah.
That's a movable aerodynamic device.
Well, not at the moment, because he's not moving either. Was that Laura Hayes that was he was battling with there? In the 22 Thunder Bunny Racing car. And 0-8's off. This is Michael Carter from 4th place across the line. He was the man who was trying to get the lead trio, and his car has come to a halt. Extraordinary. Full course yellow for the extraction required down at the bottom of turn 3. But Michael Carter, with barely a look back to his Carter Racing Enterprises number 08, has just pulled off.
Yep.
At the top of turn 6. I'm guessing that's a dead engine or some issue that he's seen straight away. Now, he's not the cause of the yellow flag, because Michael, what a sportsman, has pulled well off and behind the concrete barriers, so that's safe. It is the car, the number 31 of Jameson Riley, Copeland Motorsports, that needs recovering. And they're saying they need a lift from that car. With the... Well, he's well dug in there. Staying in the car, he's much safer in the car. In fact, the safety crew telling him to stay there whilst everything goes by. Yeah, the Riley Mazda often see this car up at Lime Rock Park if the championship's racing there. The area that's the Riley Mazda group are in which they are based. What a shame. A few more races for Jameson Riley this year, Shea. Good to see that car out.
He's had a good run so far this season, been creeping up in the point standings up to 18th after yesterday's race, but that is just heartbreak for both he and Michael Carter, who again, after yesterday, the first podium of the season for Michael, was sitting 11th in points, just one position out of that cash money payment area that I like to talk about, but that is devastating, going to drop him down once again.
The red, white and blue helmet of Jameson Riley about to depart. Extracts himself from the car. It's disappointment then for the Riley Mazda driver. Still haven't quite worked out which was the car that he was battling with. He was in close competition with Woody Hyman and Laura Hayes when he came across the line. So I'll try and spot them as they come through, see if there's any damage to the left-hand side of either of those cars. That would be the number 82 or the 22, the JTR or the Thunder Bunny Racing, so JTR or TBR cars. Well, the good news is that the car is rolling out, even though it is, I'm pretty certain, devoid of, well, I say that, and maybe not. Maybe that was just a factor of the tyre being so dug into the gravel. 10 starts this year for Jameson Riley. That's only his second DNF chase. He has had a really good year, and good to see him doing more of the championship.
Yeah, it really is. It seems like he's found a home in this championship after running in street tuner competition before in Michelin Pilot Challenge. So this really has been a comfortable transition for him, with Mazda being so closely associated with the Riley family. And hello to Jana's mom out there who's definitely watching. This is a good fit for Jameson. I think this is the start of a wonderful relationship for them. But yeah, only the second DNF in 10 races. That is not a bad record for your first season running in these cars when the competition is this stiff.
Exactly so, and runs all the way through when you've got people like Chris Nunes and Aaron Johnson and Celine Roland running 11th, 12th and 13th position.
Yep.
At the moment. That is a deep field. Behind the Mazda MX-5 safety car, here's how they stand with just on 15 minutes of the 45 still to go. So a third of this race still to be completed. We've had 10 laps, and Connor Zilic leads, and he is in that number 72 Hickson Motorsports car. From pole position, took his maiden victory yesterday, converting from pole position. Right behind him, series leader is Jared Thomas in the red car with the yellow roll hoop. And that is the JTR, Jared Thomas Racing, JTR Motorsports Engineering. Jared not picking up as many points as he wanted to, had his series, the championship lead, rather trimmed back just a little bit yesterday, but this is better.
Did he ever?
He does not need to win this race right now, but he needs to pick up the points that he's got in his hand. So here's the age-old question: is it stick or twist? It's like sitting on 17, isn't it? And do you go for it? How lucky are you feeling? Matthew Dirks in third position in the second of the white cars. Racing for Macumbi Macaleer Racing. He's ahead of the number 5, former series champion, Gresham Wagner. Gresham for Spark Performance, a team run by another former competitor, Nathan Sparks, in this championship, who we remember with great affection. Feisty racer was Sparky, and his team, Spark Performance, then with Gresham Wagner, who has the fastest lap of the race, and will get the bonus points from that. And that was a new lap record at 2:32.909. Glenn McGee has worked his way up to 5th position, which I seem to think is a decent move forward. He was in 8th to start with for JTR. Sam Paley in 6th for the blue number 28. It's another Macumbi Macaleer Racing car. And the top 10 made up by the second of the rookies, Bruno Cagnero, in the number 21 Hickson Motorsports. He's teammates with our overall leader, Connor Zilic, who is the lead rookie, by the way. Behind Cagnero, Justin Piscatel for Macumbi Macaleer Racing. That's the number 89 car. Joey Atanasio is the black car with the bright green stripes. And that's number 43, third in the rookies in this race. Jensen Altsman for Macumbi Macaleer Racing makes up the top 10. I seem to have mentioned Macumbi Macaleer Racing quite a lot. Also 2 JTR cars in there and 2 Hickson cars. These are the teams, Shea, with due respect to everybody else. Formidable have got a couple of cars in. Copeland have got a couple of cars in. Most of the teams here have multiple cars, with the notable exception, although not now running, of Michael Carter, who runs his own car, and that is actually, for Carter Racing Enterprises, that's actually quite unusual.
Yeah, it is. You don't often find people running around by themselves. Last year, though, the champion was Spark Performance. That was just Gresham Wagner out on the track. Now it is 3 cars for Spark Performance. So you tend to see this growth happening. Jared Thomas Racing last year was 2 cars. Now it is a handful of cars out in the field. But as you noted, you do tend to get those teams that have had success at the front of the field, and they do tend to try and run together. As we are going green this time by, I'm wondering how long that leading trio with 3 different teams is going to play nicely with each other, or are they going to back each other up until they can get a hold of their teammate and then try and go for a win? Because it's a long run up to the checkered flag. Don't forget, it's all uphill.
2.5 minutes laps at full pace or thereabouts. A little bit over that. So we're going to have around about 10 minutes to go, and even I can work out that that's probably going to be 4 laps, depending on when the leader comes to the line. The white flag will be shown if there is less time remaining on the countdown clock, or when there is less time remaining on the countdown clock than a full lap. So if we come to the line with 2 minutes and 40 still to go, then they'll go round again. If we come with 2 minutes and 20, the white flag will go out. That's generally how it works in these time-certain races. And as I say, we're going to be somewhere near 10 minutes, so 4, possibly 5 laps, depending if we could stay green and how quickly they can get up to speed. Safety car lights are out, and the MX-5 with the roof down. Of course, always have the roof down on an MX-5. I ran one for about 6 months at the end of the UK winter, and I think I had the roof up twice. Brilliant little things to run around in. 180 horsepower, exactly the same engine as these race cars. Of course, the race cars have got somewhere near 250 pure racing parts, but the engine is left absolutely stock and sealed. And Tanya waves the green flag again with some gusto. Across the line goes Connor Zilic. He's got to do it all over again, leading out this time. Zilic, who was on pole position, but this time everybody's behind him in single file. Jared Thomas does not pull out. Joey Atanasio does, and he's got Aaron Jansson in the white, red and blue car for company. That's the battle for 9th and 10th. Jansson in the number 24 car, and this time it's Atanasio going down the inside, but Jansson's gone through. That moves him up to 9th position. All kinds of carnage going on further down the field. I think that was Alex Matura who was on the grass for a moment or two, but he's back on the hard standing. Nobody at the moment making moves. No, hang on a minute, someone's pulled out the line. Yes, Glenn McGee was looking for drafting help down towards turn 5. He hasn't got it, but he's down the inside of Sam Paley. Paley trying to go around the outside. I'm not sure that really worked for Glenn McGee there. He'll have the inside line for turn 6, the left-hander at the top of the hill, and he's got help now with Bruno Cañero behind him, and Paley drops in as well. Even on these short stretches through turn 7, which is flat out on these cars, down to the hurry downs to turn 8, even on those stretches, you absolutely get the aerodynamic help. And Shea, with a bit of detective work and help from the race control, we've discovered who was involved with Riley, Jameson Riley.
Thank you, Aaron. It is Ethan Tyler who has a drive-through penalty for incident responsibility. So that is the 80 blue MX-5 that we saw. That was the contact with Jameson Riley that wound up with him in the gravel at turn 3.
That's spotted by race control. The race director having to sit the drivers down this morning before this race and just remind them of their responsibilities to their fellow competitors. Generally speaking, very respectful here, but as I said, it got a little untidy yesterday. If you haven't seen the race, go to the Mazda MX-5 Cup.com page. That's MX-5Cup.com. MX-5Cup.com. Timing and scoring on there, as well as all the stories and all the race archives accessible through their Facebook pages as well. And here comes that number 80 car sneaking into pit lane as if we wouldn't see what was going on. Assess the incident responsibility. Ethan Tyler, one of the rookies, and running for Hickson Motorsports. Oh, and a big bump there for Paley, right front to left rear of the car ahead. He's done very well to keep that car on the straight and narrow down through turn number 1 and not to do any damage either. He's dropped back a couple of places as through Of course, Jean Jourdain, who's also didn't have a good race yesterday, that was the darker coloured 39, so a little bit ambitious from Paley here as he was trying to get past Glenn McGee. Maybe
Sam Paley got airborne.
Yes.
There's no way that car is okay.
Well, it looked to me as though Glenn McGee, who was on a tighter line, just had to check up a little bit. That may have caught Sam Paley out, but the car behind has responsibility. He was trying to take some momentum through. Atanasio went through as well. So Paley will have dropped at least a couple of places. Cagnaro, I think, went through as well. So I reckon Paley has dropped down to the lower reaches of the top 10. Zilic still leads, and the top 4 now, Shea, have got away. Glenn McGee in 5th position leads the chasing group, and that's where Sam Paley was battling, and now he's dropped down. I think he may have even dropped down behind Chris Noons there. We'll have to check out that the pink front of Chris Noons' car is always a good machine. Yeah, it has.
Bruno Carniero is all over Glenn McGee now, but that leading quartet has broken away. Watch Gresham Wagner. He is always good at the end of these races, and he is going to be hunting Matthew Dirks like it is open season.
Really good run through the kink for Bruno Carniero. Also, the aforementioned pink-fronted car. That is easy to spot. Chris Noons, he was having a good run as well. Gresham Wagner just a little bit wide at Canada corner. Through the Bill Mitchell corner. It's trickier than it looks, that, because you just get through the bend and then the camber slightly changes. The cars can go light across there, and you're a little bit too familiar with the throttle there. You can just start to get the back end moving around. I reckon that it's any 3 from the top 4 with 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes and 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7 as they cross the line. It's going to be at least a couple of laps here, maybe 3, depending when they come to the line. So at least 8 miles, possibly a wee bit more down the inside. Great manoeuvre from Bruno Carniero in the 21. Huge sideways moment for Piscatel, who was in amongst that as well. And Glenn McGee, who was 5th, has dropped back at least 1 position down the inside. Johnson's coming through as well in the white car with the red and blue accents. Piscatel.
But he gets hung out to dry.
He needs help from behind. Needs help from behind at the moment if he's going to continue on that line. Piscatel had an accident but just didn't go off there. That was unbelievable the way he held on to that through turn 1. Had to just tighten the corner because of what was going on ahead of him and somehow held on to it. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 across the track at turn 5. So this second group now, having lost touch with the leaders, this is the battle for the minor places. 5th on down, and Carniero side by side with the white number 24. That's Aaron Johnson. Then Joey Atanasio. So there's a couple of rookies in there. Down the inside for Johnson. He's the more experienced of the drivers there. Down at turn 8, heads towards the carousel. He's got 5th position. Saw Celine Roland in the background there in that creamish coloured car with the sort of light orange highlights on it. Almost pistachio.
Pistachio, I like that. Just looking at the rookie battle for the championship, because remember, that's $80,000. Yes, we have Connor Zilic leading the race right now and looking to take away maximum points, but leading the rookie championship still coming into today's race is Joey Atanasio. He was 3rd in the overall championship yesterday. He's 4th coming into today, but guess who's 5th? And right behind him, Bruno Carniero. So Bruno needs to stay ahead of Atanasio on the racetrack to have any hope of being in this top 3 rookie championship. He needs the money bad.
Aaron Johnson in that number 24 car started in 18th position. There is a battery tender hard charger award. We've almost been by default giving that to Aidan Fastnacht in the last few races, but Aidan will not finish this race. We'll check to see if anyone else has made up more positions across the line then. 2 minutes 30 to go. I did not see a white flag. I did not see a white flag on the starter stand to our left. 2 minutes 20 to go. It's this one and one more, I reckon. So we just got to the line. in time for one more. Time will elapse as they're coming up the hill this time, and then we'll see the white flag. That is what I believe. We'll wait for confirmation.
And that's what Gresham Wagner wanted to happen, John. He wants another, at this point, 7 miles to try and get the win.
So when do you go for it? The top 4 have pulled away to the tune of almost 5 seconds. Gresham Wagner sits on the back. He can see what's going on ahead of him with the top 3. Conor Cilic has been out front so long that I don't think he's seen the back of another MX-5 for half an hour.
It's been since lap 2 that he's been leading the way, John.
So, yeah, so it's even more than that. It's 40 minutes plus. Meantime, yep. Jared Thomas, who's been sitting in behind that, will know every nut and bolt and scratch and fly and everything on the back of that leading car. He'd be able to draw it from memory. If we get a sketch artist in, we'll certainly be able to do that for the JTR guy in second place. And all of a sudden, just one mistake coming out of the carousel, and here comes Wagner. No, he pulls back in again. This is not the right time. As they go through the kink, the leader, for a moment, has got 2 or 3 cars lengths, but surely he can't hold that when there's a train of 3 drafting down towards Canada Corner. Then the big 5-second gap. Now, out from behind Jared Thomas, the second of the white cars is Matthew Dirks. It's the number 76 car. He stays tight and on the racetrack. Wagner follows that line through Bill Mitchell corner. It will be white flag this time around. Yep. And the big drag up the hill. Where's your money, Shay?
I'm going to stick with Wagner on this one. I think he's waiting for the cars in front of him to make a mistake. Well,
Wagner got to Gresham Wagner in that orange, green and white car, got to the back of that leading group. And after the restart, he's held on to it. 4 miles. 4 miles and 16 wheels of BF Goodrich action. 4 fours are indeed 16, and straight away, it's the 76 of Matthew Dirks who dives into second. Here comes Wagner. Great news for Conor Cilic. He's broken away. Second, third and fourth fighting amongst themselves. Wagner down the inside at turn 3. He's pushed the go button. It's now or never for him if he's going to win this. Jared Thomas is the championship leader, remember. He does not need to win this. He needs to finish this. Had his points lead trimmed drastically yesterday with a bad finish. And these 3 fighting are handing this to Cilic. Cilic looking in his door mirror on his side, and the door mirror on the other side. There's going to be no challenge to Cilic going down into 5. Wagner in second. Then it's Jared Thomas, the championship leader.
Thomas third.
Wow. So Thomas back up to third. And on the podium, he'll take... I think Thomas would take 4th right now. If you handed him the points for 4th after yesterday, I think he'd take that as opposed to being in the barrier. Big slide from the number 72, Conor Cilic, the leader, coming out of turn 7 into turn 8. Half a lap to go, couple of miles. And Celine Roland and Joy Atanasio. Joy, the second of the rookies, and Celine Roland, they were battling for 7th and 8th position. They've hit the wall and each other. I don't think we'll need the safety car because that's behind the leaders. So Conor Cilic does not get the benefit of a neutralised race. It'll be yellows once they've crossed the line, but that was well round the lap. Wagner in second. When does Jared push? Oh, there's a bit of a touch there. Thomas had to just trail the brakes as he was running into the back of Gresham Wagner. The red car pulls out. That's Jared Thomas down the inside into Canada Corner. And a big slide from Wagner. He's going to lose 2 places here. Has done. He's off the podium. And Jared Thomas, series championship leader, back up into second position. But no one's going to catch Cilic. Cilic, he's on his way for a double this weekend. 2 poles. He's not won in this championship before. Now he has, and he's just doubled his tally in the W column. It's the drag to the line, and that one's not over yet. Cilic will win it. For Hickson Motorsport, that's 2 for 2 at America's National Park of Speed for Conor Cilic, the rookie. Jared Thomas is scored in second place, and that will be a big sigh of relief. His right-hand door mirror is absolutely no use to Thomas. It's pointing more forwards than backwards, and that's extraordinarily close racing. Thomas then will get his championship back on course after a measly points haul yesterday. Matthew Dirk scored in third position, will stand on the third step of the box. Gresham Wagner will get the points for fourth and the points for the fastest lap. A new lap record here, eclipsing Michael Carter's 2:33.5 from last year. The new mark then when we come back with the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Championship to Road America will be 2:32.9. Then it was Piscatel, Janson, Glenn McGee, Chris Noons, Jensen Altman, another top 10 finish for the number 13 car. And the top 10 made up by Jean Jourdouin, who will be the second of the rookies. Laura Hayes, third in the rookies in 12th position.
Man.
So the last lap then started with Connor Zilic in the lead. Then there was the cut across the bows as Matthew Dirks went to second. Some side-by-side action on the exit with Jared Thomas getting a little bit of hip and shoulder in there. Jared Thomas on that last lap was fourth, third, second, third, fourth, and then back to second again.
Yep, you're right. But the biggest story of the day comes on that contact on the penultimate lap for Celine Roland and Joey Atanasio. Neither car finishing the race. They came into today's race second and fourth in the championship standings. Gresham Wagner will jump up to second undoubtedly.
Oh.
And it was contact between the two going into sixth, both cars spinning off and then into the tires hard. Ow.
Yeah, that again coming up into turn 6. Just cresting the rise. Celine Roland on the inside, Joey Atanasio on the black and green car on the outside. And Celine, I think, just moved slightly to the right, trying to get a better line into the left-hander. Wow, that's a big impact for both of those cars, and they pinballed their way back together again as they hit the tyre stacks that are protecting that concrete wall there. I just think that Celine, just moved slightly to the right. No, I mean, absolutely nothing deliberate there. Just trying to get another 6 or 7 inches to the right to be able to turn in and hold a bit more speed through turn number 6. And having a word with Joy. Joy was up the outside there. They were pretty much side by side. I am sure that race control will have a look at that. Connor Zilic, by the way, in addition to taking the top step, is also on the top step of the rookie podium from Jean Jourdouin, who bounces back from not a great race yesterday for Macumbi Macalia Racing in the number 39, and Laura Hayes in the number 22, Thunder Bunny Racing in 12th position, Shay.
Yeah, but John, looking at the timing and scoring, we've got Bruno Carniero down in 21st position, scoring as not having finished that final lap. So Celine Roland and Joey Atanasio, even though they wound up in the barriers, still finished ahead of Carniero, meaning that the rookie championship standings have swung completely. And Connor Zilic, the man driving into victory lane at Road America right now, also will jump himself up into the lead of the rookie championship.
Now, the big question is, if he finishes in the top 10 in the overall championship, he gets the money for that, and he wins the rookie championship, does he get that money as well? So do they get added together?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
what happened
so.
to Sam Paley last year. Sam Paley won the rookie championship, but was actually the second rookie as far as the season championship was concerned. He was the one laughing. He got the 80 grand.
Shea Adam was alongside me, John Hindhoff. What a great weekend of action at America's National Park of Speed. Road America once again has proved a brilliant venue for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup for 2022, presented by BF Goodrich Tyres. We're at a very different circuit, similar surroundings, but much shorter. It's Lime Rock Park, where we'll see these cars next. Join us then on racer.com, on imsaradio.com with the TV pictures, and of course on www.mx-5cup.com. For Shea Adam, I'm John Hindhoff. Thanks to all our technical team at Road America and Charlotte. What a great weekend of Mazda racing.